puppy people. Jude the Puppy Nanny here. Miracles in puppy training. Guess what? They don't exist. And I constantly say that we humans expect miracles when we're training a puppy. As Ian Dunbar says, puppy development hasn't changed in 100 years. In other words, a puppy 100 years ago of 8 weeks was the same as a puppy now of 8 weeks of age and can still learn the same things at the same stage of their development. So we're kind of crazy. We think the world has sped up, and indeed it has, but there's some things that there's no miracle, there's no speed. And so what you really need to do is you need to think small, train in tiny steps. Show the puppy what you want. You know my 4-paw training pattern, which is show and tell, repeat and release, repeat, repeat, repeat. So you're going to show him what you want, and then you're going to add the verbal command, tell him what you want, and then you're going to practice it a lot, and that is step 1. And you are going to stay very still. No matter what you're teaching, you need to keep your body really, really still. And when you begin to train something, practice with duration, in other words, the length of what you want, for a long time before you add any distance, as in you begin to move away. And certainly with no distractions at the beginning. And after you've repeated and repeated and repeated that, so that you have a puppy who will hold a stay, for example, for 1 minute, then you can begin to move one body part slowly, very slowly. Move a foot back. Move the arm that's not your signaling arm very slowly. And if your pup is distracted by that and moves or breaks, as we say, then you start all over again. Very patiently, very calmly, and very quietly. Because what we want is we want our puppy to be successful. Because the more times you have success, the more willing the pup is to practice some more. And tiny, tiny, tiny. I can't say the word tiny often enough. You're going to make the best progress in tiny steps, tiny little time increments, tiny little body movements, tiny steps away from pup, and tiny distant distractions. What we tend to do is we think we've taught the puppy something. We've taught him to stay, and we got the pup to stay while we put his bowl of food on the floor. So the next time or the next day, we put the bowl of food on the floor and we walk halfway across the kitchen. I can't understand why puppy doesn't hold a stay. Too much, too fast, too soon. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So, and you certainly can expect mistakes. You can expect things to go backwards. You can have times when pup looks at you like, what? I never heard of this before. You can certainly have misunderstandings because what you're saying and what your body is telling puppy may be two different things. And remember that pups will always default to your body language, not the words. And certainly you can expect frustration, yours, perhaps his, but no puppy's ever told me. So we know that you'll be frustrated. And it's just like when we learn something new, and I think about myself last year when I began to learn an awful lot of techie stuff on the internet. And every one of those I can claim. Mistakes, regression, forgetting from one time to the next what I'd learned, misunderstanding somebody who gave me instructions, and certainly frustration. So it's just part of the learning curve. But in time, with practice, lots of praise, and loads of patience, your puppy will sit and stay until you release him. He'll also sit and stay with you at a distance. And he can also sit and stay with big distractions. Pepper's sitting here. You can probably tell she's about 6, maybe 7 or 8 feet from the door. I'm standing at the door. And her owner, as you can see, is behind the door. Now, she didn't do this overnight, I'll tell you, but she could sit and stay there with all of those things happening around her. I firmly believe there are no miracles in puppy training. If a miracle is a sudden and unexpected and unexplained event, they don't happen in puppy training. It's small steps, lots of patience, lots of practice, lots of praise. And you know, the foundation that you lay, the taking the time to get one step uh, down really solid, will make the biggest difference. I'm reminded when I see people, as I was talking about putting the dog dish down and then moving across the kitchen on day 2 and can't understand why the pup won't stay. I'm reminded of building a castle with those colorful kids blocks. And as you can see in the one on the right, there's going to be a toppling over very shortly because the blue and yellow ones on the bottom are not properly lined up. So if you ask your puppy to do too much too soon, it'd be like building a castle, a block castle with a very poor base. So think one tiny step at a time. Think small. Everybody's always talking about think big. Well, in puppy training, I say think small. And if you need help with not only training stay, but with teaching your puppy to sit or to come or to walk nicely on a leash, to lie down when you ask, then I have put together a 4-paw training pattern, which consists of 6 modules, and in those modules are the trainings, and they come in various formats, as in slide presentations, video, written word, and there are checklists that you can post every week, and there's six modules, so you can take 6 weeks or as long as you need to do it, but you've got something that will keep you accountable and keep you moving forward as you train your puppy, because I believe that everybody has in their mind a kind of a dream dog, the dog they dream of owning. And I put together this 4-paw training pattern so that you will be well on your way to having your dream dog. And you'll get the information by clicking on the link above, or simply by going to judethepuppynanny.com and /4-paw training pattern. And you know what I always say when you're training a puppy, hanging out with a puppy, anything you're doing with your puppy, remember to have fun. That's it for this time.